Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam view class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam
अवधूतं
Paritam
परिजनासहितं
Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानो सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are discussing Uddhava Gita. So the beautiful section where Uddhava he is asking Krishna so many of the questions because he knows that now Krishna is going to depart, and therefore Uddhava, just to pacify his mind, he is asking so many questions from Krishna so that he can be properly situated while being in this material world. And this Uddhava Gita is a elaborate explanation of the same things, the concepts which Krishna told to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But because this Kurukshetra, it was an emergency, so Krishna he spoke all those concepts in very brief. But now Krishna is speaking, and as we have discussed, we have seen that Krishna has explained the same concepts in elaborate details. So far we have completed 19 chapters. So today we'll discuss the 20th chapter, which is entitled as Pure Devotional Service Surpasses Knowledge and Detachment. So at the end of the previous chapter, after answering the various questions of Uddhava had asked in the last section about the standard definitions for the universal aspects of civilized life. And he had asked about so many things, yam, niyam, sam, dam, and all that. And Krishna he explained everything. And then in the last verse, 45th verse of the 19th chapter, Krishna said, Guna dosha drishir dosho gunastu bhaya varjitaha. So focusing on material piety and sin is itself a discrepancy, since actual piety means to transcend both piety and sin. So uh, this creates a doubt in the mind of Uddhava, and therefore he is now clarifying his doubt in the beginning of the 20th chapter. So Uddhava he asks that, oh my lord, Vedas, they are your orders, they are the words of Supreme Lord only, and the Vedas they contain prohibitions and recommendations, and such recommendations they have good and bad qualities, right? Some are good qualities, some are bad qualities. They focus on the good and bad qualities of the work. All these recommendations and prohibitions, this is good way to do a particular work, this is a bad way to do a particular work. So Uddhava is confused because he is thinking that Krishna has told him that you to see good and bad is itself bad. This creates a doubt in the mind of Uddhava. So Vedas they deal both with piety and sin. So now Uddhava he wants to clarify what does this mean. And so Chakravarti Thakur writes that by following orders, one performs good acts of piety, and goes to Swarga. But if somebody does not follow the orders and performs prohibited acts, sinful acts, then he goes to hell. So all these are there described in the scriptures, right? Vedas, they describe the superior and inferior jivas also. There are various living entities. In the Varnashram system, there is something called Pratiloma marriage and Anuloma marriage. Pratiloma marriage means the combination of a superior woman and an inferior man. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So if a Shudra father marries a Brahmana mother, then this is called Pratiloma marriage, which is particularly called as Vaidehika. If a Kshatriya father marries a Brahmana mother, then that is uh, person, the son who is born is called Suta. You know, this is called Pratiloma marriage. Anuloma marriage means a superior father and an inferior mother. If a Brahmana is getting married to a Kshatriya lady or a Vaishya lady. So Uddhava is saying, Vedas, they describe that there are some superior jivas, some inferior jivas, depending on how they get married. The scriptures describe, Vedas describe piety and sin also, heaven and hell also. They are all described in the scriptures only. So therefore he says, Gunadosha Bhrida Drishtim Antarena Vachastava Nishreyasam Katham Nrinam Nishedha Vidhilakshanam. He says how one can understand that Vedas, if we are not referring to the piety and the sin, then how one can understand Vedas? Because Vedas, they deal entirely with sin and piety only. And if Vedas are not referred, then how can one get liberation? Because the liberation is also described in the Vedas only. So how to understand all this? So Uddhava is getting confused because of the last statement of Krishna. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that Vedas, they are not only the cause of liberation for humans, but they are the cause of liberation for Pitris and the Devatas also. Because in the heavenly planets also, the Devatas, they work according to the scriptural rules and regulations. So therefore, if Vedas are the best source of knowledge and Vedas are mentioning what is sin, what is piety, so how can one not see good and bad? So that is the very confusing thing for Uddhava. Then in fifth verse, Uddhava says that Vedas, they bring forth piety and sin. So if people, they belittle piety and sin, then there will be confusion. So please dispel this doubt of mine. So Prabhupada, so the purport describes that Vedic literatures, they are full of descriptions of piety and sin. If you do this, you will get this reaction. If you do this, you will get that reaction. But what Krishna is telling to Arjuna is, Krishna is telling Arjuna, oh Arjun, all this piety and sin, this is related to the material acquisitions of the world. If you do a material piety, you will go to heaven. If you do a sinful activity, you will go to hell. But ultimately, all the Vedas, they are meant to serve Krishna. Vedesha sarvair ahameva vedya. Material piety should take one towards Krishna. Therefore, if material piety is not bringing one close to Krishna, that is just a useless labor. Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirthapada sevaya jivannapi mritopisa. If your karma does not lead, if your karma does not lead to dharma, if your dharma does not lead to renunciation, if your renunciation does not lead to devotional service, then it is all useless. Jivannapi mritopisa. So therefore, Uddhava is getting confused between piety and sin, but Krishna is talking about material piety and material sin. You know, one should not act in a material way. That is the whole motive of Krishna's talk. That's what Krishna told Arjuna also. This chapter is the elaboration on this verse Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. Krishna told to Arjuna, "Oh Arjun, the Vedas, they are dealing with three modes of material nature. Because of the three modes of material nature, people, they act either in a pious way or in a sinful way. You transcend all these lower material natures and come to the level of transcendence." So that is a whole discussion which will be going on this chapter. So the purport describes that, generally people who are moralists. So now this is a very interesting thing. So those who are moralists, they don't believe in God. Some people say, you'll see many people in the society, they will not follow God. They may be atheists, but they will have lots of good qualities. They will be morally very good. So the purport describes there that these moralists, they forget the Lord. Therefore, even though they have good qualities, they won't achieve the ultimate destination. What is the use of all this material piety, material moral values, if you are not coming close to Krishna? Because all this material morality will help you to acquire more and more pious credits, but the result is, again and again, you have to come back in this world. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jathare shainam, all this will go on. So therefore, people, ordinary moralists, they have a great fear. If they hear all these things, transcend material piety, material sin, they become so very fearful. And therefore, they don't accept this principle of transcendence. They disregard they think that these moral principles are more important than serving God. So all this creates some doubt, confusion in the mind of Uddhava. So that's why he's asking Krishna. So now Krishna starts speaking. He says, "Oh my dear Uddhava, because I desire that all human beings achieve perfection, I have given three paths of advancement: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. The path of speculative knowledge, the path of fruitive activity, and path of devotion." So basically, Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga, they are actually uh, the two subsets of a same set. So basically, so both Jnana and Ashtanga, they are categorized under Jnana only. So therefore, Krishna is saying, I have presented only three paths for the perfection, for living entities to achieve perfection. So the ultimate goal of all this philosophical speculation, fruitive activity, and devotional service is the same. That is Krishna consciousness. Ultimately, in the path, in this yoga ladder, we have heard discussed in the, in the Bhagavad Gita. Sorry, there was some network problem. Okay. So Krishna is saying in the 6th verse here that I have given the three Vedas, three paths for perfection: Jnana, Karma, and Bhakti Yoga. So ultimately, as we know in Bhagavad Gita, it is described that there is a yoga ladder. Ultimately, whether one is at the level of Karma or a Jnana or Ashtanga, ultimately he comes to the level of Bhakti only. So Krishna consciousness is the ultimate goal of all these three paths. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvashah. So in this way, all people, they are actually on the path of Krishna consciousness. Either one is practicing Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Ultimately, one is performing service to Krishna only, directly or indirectly. So therefore, the three things, Traya, so purport describes the Traya indicates that despite their ultimate sense of ultimate oneness of purpose, ultimately they have one purpose, but their paths are different. The Jnanis, their perfection is impersonal Brahman. Karmis, their perfection is heavenly enjoyment. And of course, after enjoying for a long time, they think, we'll exhaust all our material desires, and then we'll become peaceful, and then we'll come to serving Krishna. But there are two problems with the karma. First is, it is so very dangerous and uncertain because the material desires are endless. The desires never end. If somebody says, I will satisfy my desires, and after all my desires are fulfilled, then I will come to Krishna. This is a very dangerous proposal because the desires never end. And secondly, in the path of karma kanda, if there is a little flaw, slight mistake, a person performs some sinful activity and then he is degraded from the path of progress. So that's why this karma yoga, although it is a ladder, but it is very, very dangerous. Jnanis, they ultimately reach impersonal Brahman, but only devotional service takes one to loving service of Krishna, which is most pleasing to Krishna. So after hearing about jnana, karma and bhakti, Uddhava may think, okay, who is qualified for doing what? Who can practice karma? Who can practice jnana? Who can practice bhakti? So in the 7th verse, Krishna describes the qualification for jnanis and jnana and karma yoga. Nirvinnanam jnana yogo nyasinam iha karmasu teshu nirvinno chetanam chittanam karma yogastu kaminam. So he says jnana yoga should be performed by those people who are nirvinnanam. Nirvinnanam means those who are completely disgusted with the material life and those who are completely detached from sense gratification. They should practice jnana yoga. And who should practice karma yoga? Anirvinna. Those who are still not disgusted with material life. They still have desires to enjoy. And they are kaminam. They have unlimited material desires and they are not disgusted with material life. They are so very attached to sense gratification. They should practice karma yoga. And who should practice bhakti yoga? Now very, very, very important verses are coming in this chapter. Yadrichaya matkatado jata shraddha stuyah puma na nirvinno nati sakto bhakti yoga siddhidah. It says yadrichaya. Yadrichaya means if somehow or other, by some good fortune, jata shraddha, a person, his faith rises in mat katha, in my pastimes. If some by good fortune somebody develops faith in my pastimes and he is so very attached to hearing and chanting my glories, na nirvinno na atisakta. So this is a contrast from jnanis and karmis. Jnanis are completely detached, karmis are completely attached. A devotee, he does not condemn sense gratification or nor he is so much attached to detachment. Neither disgusted with the material life nor attached, nor extremely attached to renunciation. Bhakti yogo asya siddhida. So such people, they achieve perfection by the practice of bhakti yoga, devotion to me. So therefore, a person who avoids the two extremes, material detachment, complete detachment, or impersonal reaction to the material attachment. What is that impersonal reaction? Oh, this world is full of troubles. So very disgusting. The relations in this world are the cause of misery. I don't want any relationship. I just want peace in life. Shanti, shanti, shanti. And when this person hears, oh, if I'll go to the spiritual world, there Krishna has so many relationships, so many people are there. So he's thinking, I'll suffer there also. So therefore he becomes completely, averse to any type of relationship. He wants just peace in life. That is an impersonal reaction. So this devotee, he is neither condemning material attachment nor he is just thinking of becoming completely inert. This devotee, he has faith in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, faith in hearing faith in chanting the names of the Lord. So faith is the primary qualification for the practice of bhakti yoga. Jata Shraddha. So the Shraddha, which is the very, very important concept, the Shraddha is the beginning of spiritual life. Adav Shraddha Tatah Sadhu Sangha. So therefore, this chapter describes many of the wonderful concepts about the process of devotional service. So therefore, it is the qualification of three processes are mentioned by Chakravarti Thakur. He says, what is the process? What is the qualification of jnana? Disgust. Completely disgusted with the material world. Detachment. If a person has complete disgust and detachment, then he can practice jnana yoga. And then, if he is excessively attached, then he will practice karma yoga. But if somebody is neither attached nor completely attached nor completely detached, he can practice bhakti yoga by some rare chance of association of devotees. So a jnani, if he gets association of devotee, he can become also a devotee. So therefore, Shraddha is a very, very important concept. Shraddha is a very, very important element in this path of devotional service. So Uddhava is thinking, is it natural that the overly attached jiva is qualified for karma? It is natural. It is natural that overly attached jiva, he will do karma only. But when he will become qualified for jnana, when he will become qualified for bhakti, तो कर्म से ज्ञान पे कब पहुंचेगा, कर्म से भक्ति कब पहुंचेगा? तावत कर्माणि कुर्वीत न निर्विद्येत यावता मत कथा श्रवणादौ वा श्रद्धा यावन्न जायते. So Krishna is telling, O Uddhava, till the time one is not completely free from material desires, satiated by fruitive activity, and he has not developed faith in my pastimes, my holy name, till that time, he should continue to perform the karma yoga. So unless one has developed firm faith, how he will develop firm faith? By association. So the whole process is depending on association of pure devotees. So that's what Krishna will say again and again in this chapter. One can enter into the path of bhakti yoga only by association of pure devotees. Till that time, one should not neglect rules and regulations which are mentioned in the scriptures. So we as a sadhaka, we are also not on the level of Shuddha Bhakti. Our faith is not complete. We have faith, but till the time we are not on the level of pure devotional service, Shuddha Bhakta, the scriptures, so this verse is a very, very important verse. Some people ask, oh, why should we do Shraddha ceremony? We are devotees, right? Bhagavatam says, Devarshi bhutapt nirnam pitrinam nakinkaro nayam runicha najan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam yatom kundam pariritya kartum. After one completely surrenders to Krishna, one is not required to do all the duties. He is free from the debt towards the forefathers, towards the devatas, towards the rishis, towards the living entities. But the main word is Sharanam Sharanyam. Are we completely surrendered? That's what Krishna is saying in this verse. Mat katha shravanada va shraddha yavanna jayate. Till the time my devotee does not have awakened the taste of devotional service, he should continue to follow the rules and regulations. And Chakravarti Thakur quotes a verse which says that Shruti and Smriti, they are actually, Krishna is saying himself, Shruti and Smriti, they are actually my injunctions. So therefore, anybody who violates the words and the rules of Shruti and Smriti, they are violating my words. And anybody who does not follow the instructions which are given in the scriptures, they cannot become devotee. They are not Vaishnavas. So as devotees, we are supposed to follow all the rules and regulations which are mentioned in the scriptures. But what should be our attitude when we are following these rules and regulations mentioned in the scriptures? Attitude should be that ultimately all these things are not going to help me. Ultimately, devotional service is going to help me. Therefore, our faith should be on the process of devotional service. But because we are not on that pure level, we should continue doing all these scriptural rules and regulations. And we have heard the story of Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj, he was also doing all the sacrifices, you know, idam chandra, idam nama, idam surya, idam namama. He would offer all these oblations and he would chant these mantras. But while chanting these mantras, he would not meditate on the devta. He would meditate on the Krishna's limbs. Oh, moon and sun, they are the eyes of Krishna. So therefore, our faith should be on devotional service and not on these fruitive activities. It may look externally to be a karma kandi rituals, but Bhagavad Gita describes anything which is done without faith will not give reaction, will not give the result. So therefore, even if a devotee may be doing a karma kandi activity, externally looking karma kandi activity, but if a devotee does not have faith in those activities, he will not get the reaction. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam chayat asadityuchyate partha nacha tat pretyano iha. So this is very important to understand. The qualification for practicing bhakti is complete faith. But till the time we have not developed complete faith in Krishna, we should continue following all the rules and regulations of the scriptures, our social responsibilities, our the family traditions which are coming in our parampara. We should continue to do all these things. What is the result of nishkam karma? Krishna says, oh my dear Uddhava, a person who is practicing his prescribed duty and he is not desirous of the result of that worship, that means he is doing nishkam karma yoga. So because he does not want the results, he will not go to heaven. And because he is not doing anything sinful, he will not go to hell. Then this person, now it is interesting, the 11th verse. This person, because he is free from fruitive activities and cleansed of all the material contamination, he comes to the level of Gyan. Because he is completely detached, free from sinful activity, so he comes to the level of Gyan. And he can attain liberation also, impersonal liberation. But a Nishkam Karma Yogi, if he gets association of devotee, then he attains pure devotional service unto me. So the verse describes, by fortune he attains devotional service unto me. What is that fortune? What is our bhagya? Our bhagya is if we get association of devotees. That is our fortune. That's what Kaviraj Goswami also says in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are 4 types of people who are most fortunate. Mamanaradhya dukkhartham kutumba saktamanasah satsangrahito martyo vriddha seva parichyutah. 4 types of people are fortunate, who are getting a chance to serve Krishna, who are getting a chance to associate with devotees of the Lord, who are getting a chance to realize this knowledge, and who are getting a chance to serve the Vaishnavas. So these people who are Nishkam Karmis, if they get association of devotees, Kenapi Ati Bhagyena, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu describes, Ati bhagyena. The great fortune of a person is if he gets devotional service. So that is the result of practicing Nishkam Karma Yoga. So now, after describing this, Krishna says, he starts the description of the wonderful position of a human form. What is the wonderful opportunity we have attained because of this human body? Swarginopetadichanti lokam nirainastatha sadhakam jnana bhaktebhyam ubhayam tad asadhakam. He says, what is the opportune position of human body on earth? Even Swarga, the residents of heaven, and the residents of hell, both want to take birth as human, because human form facilitates the achievement of pure transcendental knowledge and devotional service. So whether one is in heaven or hell, they all the residents, they want to come and take birth as a human. So this is the wonderful position of Krishna, this human body. So Bhagavatam also describes in the fifth chapter, fifth canto, in very elaborate detail, it is described by the residents of heaven. Kim dushkarairna kratubistapo dana dujayena falguna na yatra narayana pada pankaja smriti pramushta atishayendriya utsavat. So Devatas, they are praying to Lord, oh my Lord, after doing such intense tapasya, giving charity, doing yajna, so many things we have done and we have now attained this heaven. But there is one problem in heaven. What is that? There is no remembrance of the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda. Nayatra Narayana Pad Pankaja Smriti. It is so very difficult to remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Why? Atishaya Indriya Utsavat. There is unlimited opportunity for sense gratification available in heaven. And all of us, we have the experience that when things are going good, things are going well, there is no problem, we don't take shelter of Krishna so intensely. So therefore, this human form is designed in such a way, this Bharat Varsha, there is not intense suffering, there is no excessive enjoyment. Kabhi khushi and kabhi gum. So this is what is going on here, you know. So therefore, the sages, the devatas, they are praying that, you know, we do not even aspire for a life of Brahma. Life of Brahma is huge, 311 trillion 40 billion years. They are saying we don't want to take birth in the Brahmaloka where life is so very huge, immense. It is better to take birth as a human even for a moment. Kalpayusham sthana jayat punarbhavat shanayusham bharat bhujayovaram कृतेन मर्त्येन कृतं मनस्विनः सन्यस्य samyanti abhayam padam हरेः. It is better to have birth for a very short duration of time as a human, because in this human form we can attain the abhayam padam hare. We can attain the perfection of going back home, back to Godhead. So therefore, Krishna is saying, you know, this human body is so very rare, such a fortunate condition. A wise person should not desire to go to heaven or hell or even permanent residence on earth. No, we will not go to heaven, we'll stay on earth only. You know why? Because Krishna says, if somebody is absorbed in his body, if somebody is absorbed in the material body, then he becomes negligent of his ultimate welfare. That is going back home, back to Godhead. And therefore, he says that while you are in this material body, use this body to attain perfection. Etad vidwan puram rityor abhavaya ghatet saha apramatta idam gyatva martyam apyartha siddhidam. He says, till the time you are in this body, what you should do? A wise person, vidwan, he understands the very flickering nature of this human body, But he understands that this human body, although it is subjected to death, mrityu, this is called mrityu loka, yatra mrityu parasparam, everywhere death is there. But a wise person understands that this human body can help me to attain the highest perfection of life. So therefore, he should not become foolish. Apramatta. Apramatta means he should not become mad. What is madness? Madness means I want to enjoy. Yavat jivet sukham jivet rinam kritva घृतम पिबेत भस्मीभूतस्य देहस्य कुतः पुनरागमन भवेत. People have this philosophy, जब तक जियो मौज से जियो, किसने देखा है पुनर्जन्म होगा कि नहीं. Who has seen death? Who has seen next life? So they want to enjoy thoroughly with this body. So wise people, they should not have such type of philosophy. And therefore, one should, so Krishna continues that, one should not have attachment even to this body. Oh, this body is so very great. I want to stay in this body. No, no, you should not be attached to this body. You should follow the principle of Yukta Vairagya. Use whatever is there to come close to Krishna. That is called Yukta Vairagya. And Prabhupada gives the example of dictaphone. This dictaphone, it can be used for so many other purposes, but we are using it for serving Krishna. So that is the principle of utilizing this human body to attain the highest perfection. And therefore, a wise person should understand that death takes away everything. With every rising and setting of the sun, life is becoming one day less. The same thing is described in the second canto also. Ayurharti vai pumsam udyamastan chayannasau tasyarte yashanau nitau uttama shloka vartaya. With every rising and setting of the sun, the duration of life is going less, one day less. But a devotee, he is not coming close to death, he is coming close to Krishna. So therefore, this human body is so very important. And then this very, very famous verse comes. We have heard this many, many times. Hridehamadyam sulabham sudurlabham plavam sukalpam gurukarnadharam mayanukule nanabhasvateritam puman bhavabdhim nataret sa atmaha. This Nrideha, this human body, although it is very rarely obtained, but we have obtained it without any endeavor. We did not plan, this life will come as human. We have attained this form. So this human body is compared to a boat. Plavam. Plavam means a boat. Not an ordinary boat. Sukalpam. Sukalpam means a very perfectly made boat. So in this ship or in this boat, you need a captain. Who is the captain? The spiritual master is the captain of the boat. Guru Karnadhara. The another meaning of Karnadhara. Karnadhara means the captain. But the another meaning of Karnadhar, it is described by Acharyas, that one who catches the ear of the disciples. Karnadhar. So a spiritual master, he makes sure that the disciple is on the right path of spiritual life. Mayanukule nanabhasvateritam. And then when you are in the ocean, if there are favorable winds, the boat will, ply very smoothly. What are the favorable winds? The scriptures, rules and regulations, the instructions of the scriptures. They are the very favorable winds. Puman bhavabdhim nataret sa atmaha. In spite of all these wonderful opportunities, if somebody is not taking to this process and he is not crossing this ocean of material existence, Bhavasagar, he is called Atmaha. He is called the killer of the soul. Soul cannot be killed, but you can kill the spiritual inclinations. Spiritual inclinations will be killed if we are not taking to this process seriously. So after describing the very, very wonderful opportunity one gets in the human form. Now, Krishna describes the necessary actions which are done by a person which is qualified for jnana. In 9 verses, he'll describe this. What are the actions of a jnani? And then after that, he will describe the actions of a bhakta also. So this jnani, what does he do? He focuses his mind. So for a jnani, mind control is very, very important. That's what Bhagavad Gita describes. 6th chapter, Krishna says for a Ashtanga yogi or for a jnani, because Gyan and Ashtanga, they are, the two subsets, the Jnani ultimately performs the Ashtanga yoga. So this Jnani, the most important part is his mind should be fixed on spiritual platform. Yadarambheshu nirvinna virakta sanyatendriyah abhyasenatmano yogi dharayena chalam manah. So this transcendentalist, he is completely disgusted with the material happiness, completely detached from any type of sense gratification. His mind is completely focused on spiritual platform. But the problem is, mind's nature is, it will get distracted and deviated. What he should do, the same thing which Krishna has told to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, bring it back. So Krishna is telling, if mind deviates from the spiritual platform, again one should bring it under the control of superior nature. Just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, yato yato nischalati manasyanchalam tatastato niyamyetad atmanyeva vasham nait. Wherever and whenever the mind wanders, bring it back under the control of the spiritual nature or the soul. That will give the satisfaction to a jnani. So the purport describes one very, very nice concept. How to control the mind. Mind should be dealt like a child. Just like a child, if you are very strict, child will not listen. If a child is crying and you are beating the child all the more, child will not stop. You have to deal very patiently, very in a loving way, softly with the mind. So therefore now Krishna is going to describe how to control the mind. And for this is very, very important when we are chanting also. How to control the mind. So Krishna says, just like, if the tongue is hankering to eat very palatable dish, and if you are artificially becoming austere, what will happen? No, I have heard Jihva Vegam, one should control the tongue. We should not eat anything opulent. Bhalna khaibe, bhalna paribe. Philosophically, we can, say all these things, but the result will be mind will become so very agitated and disturbed if we are not eating good food, palatable food. So therefore, how to control the senses, how to control the mind? One has to control the mind and senses in a way like a child is dealt with. Negotiate with the mind, negotiate with the senses. And example is given, if tongue wants to taste all the palatable foodstuffs, okay, we cannot go outside to any restaurant and eat, but we can eat very opulent Mahaprasad sometimes. That is the way to satisfy the tongue. So therefore, in 20th verse, Krishna says how to control the mind. One has to watch out of the activities of the mind, how mind is working. Because if we understand that how mind works, then it will be easy to control the mind. So therefore, mind should be controlled in a very, very soft way. And very wonderful example is given by Krishna there. Just like a person who is trying to control a horse, wild horse. So this person, this rider, he sits on the back of the horse somehow, and he sometimes releases the this rope, reins. sometimes loosens, sometimes tightens it. So this is how the mind should be controlled. Sometimes the mind should be allowed for sense gratification in a little way, not too much. Just like the rider, he does not lose, he does not leaves that rein. No, for some little time he leaves that and then again pulls it back. So that's how a spiritualist also controls the mind. So this is a very, very important thing. A spiritualist never forgets the goal of you know self-realization. Even though he is sometimes engaging in some sense gratification, he does not forget the goal. He's always fixed in the path of spiritual life. And therefore, by this process, ultimately, he controls the mind. There is a hard way to control the mind by analyzing the material nature. Oh, that is called Sankhya. That's what Krishna says. When you see this world, you don't see this world as the object of sense gratification. Break it down. Break it down into the material elements. Just like if a man is seeing a beautiful body of a woman, so this person can see, oh, this body is just made up of skin, flesh, bones, fat, and pus, blood, mucus. These are all material elements which are not so attractive. That's how mind will come under control. This is a very, not so easy way, but this is a process of jnana marg. And therefore, what is the result of such constant analysis? Ultimately, mind becomes disgusted with sense gratification. Oh, what abominable body this is. This is just like a bag of stool, pus and urine. That is the contemplation of the jnanis. That's how they become detached from the material sense gratification. And in this process, they are guided by a spiritual master, another great personality. And then Krishna says, this jnani, as he is meditating, he is not meditating on something impersonal light. He is meditating on Paramatma. Yamadibhir yoga pathair anvikshikya chavidyaya mama archopasanad bhirvai nanya yogam smaren manah. Very clearly Krishna is saying in the 24th verse, this jnani, he should worship me. He should analyze this world. He should acquire knowledge. He should worship my form. That is a process of jnana. So if a yogi somehow he accidentally commits an abominable activity, then how he should atone? If a jnani is somehow falls from his path, he commits some sinful activity, how he should atone? He should not follow karma kanda atonement. A jnani should follow only jnana marg, because jnana marg itself will purify. That's what we have discussed in the 6th canto also. Shukdev Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj, jnana marg also purifies. So that's what Krishna says here. Because this jnani, he is not qualified to perform bhakti yet. Artificially, he should not follow the rules and regulations of bhakti. Unless he has not developed complete faith in the process of bhakti, jnani should not follow bhakti and should not do the atonement of bhakti yoga. He should do the atonement of jnana yoga. By the process of jnana yoga itself, he'll get purified. Okay. So that is the wonderful nature of bhakti. And then jnani. And then in the 26th verse, he describes what is piety and what is sin. This is again very famous verse. Swe swe adhikare ya nishtha saguna parikirtitah कर्मणाम जात्य शुद्धानाम अनेन नियमकृतः गुणदोष विधानेन संगानाम त्यज्यनेच्छया. So what is sin? What is piety? The strict adherence to the principles which are mentioned in the scriptures. That is called piety. And what is sin? Sin means if somebody is not following the rules and regulations which are mentioned in the scriptures. According to one's prescribed duty, if somebody is a karmi, he should follow the rules and regulations of karma yoga. If somebody is a jnani, he should follow the rules and regulations of jnana yoga. If somebody is a bhakta, so now Krishna is going to describe about bhakta. So he says, now I will describe to you the initial stage of a person who is qualified for bhakti yoga. So this is our situation, you know, that means the sadhaka, the position of a sadhaka. So now this is a very, these two verses are very, very important, very, very hope giving verses, because you know we may be thinking, oh, we are doing tapasya of hearing, chanting since so many years. We have made Krishna consciousness as the prime focus of our life, struggling so much to chant every day attentively, hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, coming in association of devotees. Is Krishna aware of what I am going through? Will I get mercy someday? So Krishna is telling about the position of his own devotees. So very, very hope-giving verse. Jat shraddho mat kathasu nirvinna sarva karmasu veda dukkhatmakan kaman parityago apyanishwarah tato bhajet mam prita shraddhalu dirnishchayah jushamanascha tan kaman dukkho darkam shagarhayan. So very beautifully Krishna describes my devotee. He has developed a little faith in my pastimes. Jata Shraddha. So Shraddha is a beginning of devotional service. In what? Mat Katha. In my pastimes. And what else he has uh, understood? Nirvinna Sarva Karmasu. He has understood that the sense gratification in this world leads to misery. That's what Bhagavad Gita Krishna says. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayonaya evate. Sense gratification in this world is pregnant with misery. A devotee knows, all of us we theoretically know, right? Sense gratification is not good, we should not indulge in that. Krishna is saying himself, Nirvinnaha, he has given up all type of sense gratification. Why? Ved means know. He knows. What does he know? Dukkhatmakan kaman. He knows sense gratification will lead to misery. But जान बूझ के भी परित्यागो अपि अनीश्वरः. He is not able to give up sense gratification. This is a position of a sadhaka. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, you know, when a sadhaka is in this condition, he takes a resolve. So this is a very interesting thought process everybody of us should have. Let my attachment to my family be destroyed or let it increase, I don't worry. Let there be millions of obstacles or no obstacles in my path of devotional service. Let me go to hell if I have committed offenses, or whatever may happen, but I will not give up bhakti. Kuch bhi ho jaye, I will not give up bhakti. Even if Brahmaji comes and tells me, what is the use of practicing bhakti? Practice jnana, practice karma. You will enjoy. I will not do it. That is a determination of a devotee. Tato bhajet mam prita shraddhalu dirnishchayah jushamanascha tan kaman dukkho darkam shagarhayan. Tato bhajet, फिर भी मेरा भजन करता है. Still, he keeps serving me. Prita, with love. Two more qualifications. Shraddhalu and Dridhanishchay. He has unflinching faith and he has a very strong determination. What is that Dridhanishchay? Dridhanishchay means he is completely determined that whatever may happen, I will follow my sadhana. I will do my swadhyay. I will do seva. That is a firm determination of devotee. Dridha Nishchaya. He thinks, by my previous sinful life, I am attracted to this sense gratification, but personally I have no power to stop them. Although sometimes I engages in sense gratification, I engage in sense gratification. Jushamanashchatan kaman means sometimes he engages in sense gratification. But the last line is very interesting, and last word is very interesting. Dukkho darkamsha garhayan. He knows that sense gratification will give me misery, and therefore he sincerely repents. So this repentance is very, very important for a devotee. We may fall down, but we should not stay fallen. Get up as soon as you come back to our original consciousness. That is the foundation, that is the foundational principle a devotee should follow. Just like a small child, even if he falls down on the ground, take shelter of the same ground to get up. A devotee, even though he may fall down because of his conditionings, because of his anarthas, he never gives up hope. Avashya rakshibe Krishna iti vishwas palan. That is a faith of a devotee. Krishna will protect me for sure. This is a hope for a devotee. In our battle against anarthas, everybody of us will go through these four stages. First is helpless defeat. Sense gratification comes in front, we surrender all our guards, indulge in sense gratification, and then later regret. Without even, we don't have strength. And that's what happened with many of us in the beginning stages of Krishna consciousness. But because of practice, we developed some strength, some determination. Then one comes to the second level. We struggle when temptation comes, we struggle with the mind. And because our mind is not so strong yet, we are not so strong yet, we surrender. Struggle and defeat. So this is the verse which is telling the second level. Struggle and defeat. Important thing is a devotee never gives up. Whatever may happen, devotee never gives up. That's the job of Maya, to make us feel tera kuch nahi ho sakta. You are a lost case. So that is what is the job of Maya. So therefore a devotee, he keeps struggling, struggle and defeat. And then after practicing for many years, he comes to the third level, struggle and success. We are able to say no to sense gratification. That is a difference between a neophyte devotee and a established devotee, a kanishta adhikari and a madhyam adhikari. He says no to sense gratification, although grudgingly. He struggles and becomes successful. And the highest stage is effortless success. That is a state of pure devotees. That is the difference between virakti and vairagya. Vairagya means when you say no to sense gratification grudgingly. Virakti means when you say no to sense gratification happily. That's what Yamunacharya says. When I remember the association with women, my lips curl in distaste and I spit at that thought. So therefore Krishna is acknowledging that my devotee, although he struggles, he may fall down, but still he never gives up. Continues practicing devotional service. Okay, so Uddhava may be thinking, so does your devotee always remain attached in sense gratification? Always attached to enjoyment of the world? Krishna says, no. Now in the next two verses, 29 and 30th, Krishna says, I am situated in the heart of my devotee. I destroy all the anarthas from the heart. I am there. I will purify my devotee. I take the responsibility. We don't have to get so much disturbed. When will I get purified? It is Krishna's duty. It is Krishna's responsibility to purify our mind and senses. Our responsibility is to engage in service. Engage in doing our sadhana properly. To purify our mind, that is not our job. That is Krishna's job. Because Krishna has taken a vow to protect his devotees. It comes in the 10th canto when all the Brajvasis, they surrendered to Krishna. When this Indra, he started showering rains, torrents of rains. Everybody goes and approaches Krishna. Oh Krishna, please save us. You only told that please worship Govardhan, and just see what has happened now. You know. So Krishna is thinking, Tasman Masharanam Ghoshtam Mannatham Mat Parigraham Gopaye Swatma Yogena Soyam Me Vratahita. Krishna is saying, oh, these people, they are my family. They are my devotees. They have surrendered unto me. They have accepted me as master. So therefore, I will protect them because it is my vow. I have taken a vow to protect my devotees. So therefore, it is duty of Krishna, responsibility of Krishna to purify our mind. Krishna is saying here, I am situated in the heart of my devotees. I will purify them slowly. Krishna ko he ama bhaje mage vishay sukh amrit chhade vish mage ei bada murkh ami bigye murkha vishay ke na diva swacharnamrit diya vishay bhulaiba. If a devotee engages in sense gratification, Krishna thinks, Arey, he is foolish, I am intelligent. I will give him the taste of my lotus feet, taste of my devotional service. He'll forget all sense gratification. So that's what Krishna is saying. I am situated in the heart of my devotee. I will purify my devotee. And what is the result of practicing devotional service? Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshayah shiyante chasya karmani mai drishta kilatmani. Very similar verse to that which came in the first canto. Vidyate, the knot in the heart is pierced. Chidyante sarva samshayah, all misgivings are cut to pieces. And Chiyante cha asya karmani, chain of fruitive reactions is terminated. And Krishna becomes visible to a devotee. So when a devotee passes through the stage of anartha nivritti, comes to the stage of nishtha, ruchi and asakti, slowly the ahankar is destroyed completely. So that is the wonderful nature of devotional service. Devotional service ultimately gives liberation. And what else happens to a devotee? Krishna says, for a devotee, Gyan and Vairagya, they are not the means to achieve perfection. A devotee should never look at Gyan and Vairagya. Tasman mad bhakti yuktasya yogina vai madut atmanah na gyanam na cha vairagyam prayah shreyo bhavediha. Because a devotee naturally acquires all the knowledge, not knowledge of the soul. That is initial stage. Knowledge of Ishvara. So devotee is not so much interested in knowledge of the soul because he naturally gets the knowledge of the soul. I am not this body, I am soul. He is concerned with developing knowledge about Krishna. Naturally, he becomes detached. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayad Ahetukam. Ahetuki. Without any separate endeavor, a devotee develops Jnana and Vairagya. There may be some anarthas remaining in the heart, but we should not think, oh, iske liye I will follow Jnana and Vairagya. No, not required. Bhakti will purify the mind. Bhakti will purify the heart of all the contaminations. So therefore, if somebody takes to this Jnana and Vairagya, it is a fault. A devotee should never take to the process of Jnana and Vairagya. Separately cultivating Vairagya, separately cultivating Jnana. No, not required. Bhakti will give Jnana and Vairagya automatically. As we have discussed in another verse, Bhakti Pareshanu Bhavo Virakti Anyatra Chaisha Trikayeka Kalaha. Just like a person who is eating simultaneously with every morsel of food, he experiences satisfaction, nourishment, and hunger decreases. A devotee, just by the practice of devotional service, automatically gets connected to Krishna, automatically becomes detached from sense gratification, and develops loving sentiment for Krishna. This happens automatically. Bhakti is independent of all the other paths. Uddhava is thinking, okay, chalo, if a devotee is completely focused on you only, chalega. But if somebody has developed faith in your topics also, but he wants heaven, he wants liberation, impersonal Brahman, then will he get that? Krishna says, yes. Whatever you want, you will get by the process of bhakti. Yat karmabhir yat tapasa jnana vairagyashchayat yogena dana dharmena shreyo bhiritarayrapi sarvam mad bhakti yogena mad bhakto labate anjasa swarga pavarga madhama katanchit yadi vanchati. The process, the results which are obtained by yoga, karma, tapasya, jnana, vairagya, dan, dharma, whatever you want, sarvam mad bhakti yogena. Just by practicing devotional service, my devotee attains everything. He wants heaven, he will attain heaven. He wants liberation, he'll get liberation. And if he wants my abode, he'll come to my abode. So this is a wonderful nature of devotee, but my devotee does not want anything else. My devotee does not want liberation. Na kinchit sadavo dhira bhakta hi ekantino mama vanchati apyamaya dattam kaivalyam punarbhavam. Even if I tell my devotee, Lele, I'll give you heaven, I'll give you liberation, devotees does not take. That is a wonderful nature of my devotees. And we have seen unlimited examples. Dhruva was told by uh, Lord Vishnu, I'll give you a position of Brahma, higher than Brahma. He says, no, I don't want. They are like broken pieces of glass. Narsimhadev told Prahlad, ask something. Prahlad Maharaj said, I am not a businessman. I don't want anything. Devotees do not want anything. So therefore, Krishna says now, who can achieve devotional service unto me? Anybody who has no personal desires and he does not pursue for any material rewards, he attains devotional service unto me. This is the best quality of my devotee. So that is a wonderful description of this process of devotional service. And in the end, Krishna says, what is the destination of my devotees? My devotee, by the sincere practice of devotional service, becomes free from all illusion. Ultimately, he enters my abode and understands the absolute truth completely. So this is the wonderful nature of devotional service. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anybody has any questions? You can please ask. You can unmute yourself if you have any questions.
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी.
Yes.
टेक्स्ट 36 जो है ना,
Yeah.
36 yes. लिखा हुआ है. हाँ, टेक्स्ट 36. नामति कांत भक्तनम नवमया एकता भक्तनम गुण दोष भव.
Yes.
गुण है.
Yeah.
उसको थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन कीजिए ना प्रभु जी. थोड़ा.
So Krishna is saying material piety and sin cannot exist in my unalloyed devotees. So they maintain steady spiritual consciousness, right? So Krishna is saying, earlier I have told you that to see good and bad is itself a bad quality, right? And the bad quality is to transcend seeing good and bad. And so the best quality is to transcend seeing good and bad. So this best quality resides in my devotees. So my devotees, they transcend all this material piety and material sin. So therefore Krishna is saying devotee is beyond piety and sin. Material piety, material sin, they do not exist in devotee. naturally a devotee do not commit any sinful activities, and he does not commit any pious activities also, because his focus is not piety, his focus is devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. So that is what Krishna is saying. So the sattva gun, rajo gun, and tamo gun, they arise from good and bad qualities. But a devotee is not interested in sattva gun, rajo gun, and tamo gun. Devotee is interested in transcendental consciousness.
Devotional.
That is Krishna consciousness. That is devotional
Transcendental
service.
consciousness.
So this whole chapter is actually the explanation of the verse Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Just
Arjuna.
transcend all this material dualities, the three modes of material nature, because they are dealing with goodness, passion, ignorance, good qualities, bad qualities, good things, bad things, good actions, bad actions. Devotees are not interested. They are interested in serving Krishna. So that is the understanding. Okay.
Arjuna.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. So we'll stop here.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Dandavad pranam.
Ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.